Very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We have a lot of attendees, and just to give you a brief idea, we have attendees from, like Disha just mentioned, we have attendees from India, Middle East, and Southeast Asia joining here. So welcome to the first in a series of webinars on the impact of COVID-19 crisis on the various sectors, especially as it relates to MENA region. But since we have attendees from across, we'll keep it a bit, discussion a bit fluid around the industry as a whole. So just to give you a quick intro, my name is Gaurav, founder and CEO of Verloop.io, and I'm delighted to be moderating this discussion with a set of these esteemed folks with us from insurance industry. As Disha mentioned, I'll just quickly take all of you through. So first with us, we have Wissam, Mattout, Chief Operating Officer of NEXtCARE. Welcome to the panel, Wissam.
Thank you. Thank you, Martin. Thank you for this introduction.
We also have Vivek, Bhalla, Director of Digital Transformations, Takaful, Emarat-Insurance, joining us. So thank you for being a part of this panel, Vivek.
Thank you so much, Gaurav. It's a pleasure to be here.
Along with these gentlemen, we also have Martin Sebastian, Head of Information Technology, Watania Insurance. It's a pleasure to have you with us, Martin.
Thank you. Pleasure is mine.
So while none of you actually need any introduction, let's start with one to get attendees better acquainted with all of you, and then we'll directly deep dive into the discussion. So Wissam, let's start with you. Why don't you give us a brief about you and what's exciting you in the sector these days? Just a quick one.
Just a quick introduction about myself. I'm Wissam Mattout. I'm leading and transforming the operation of TPA across the region and the Middle East and Africa. I've been in this industry for more than 12 years so far, coming from an IT background to an operation to all that insurance industry with all that complication. It's always exciting. So you see the situation from different views and in different eyes. You see it when you are in IT, and I see it as a client at the same time as I see it as the core, which is operation, servicing people, looking into how excited is the team and how excited to achieve more day by day, helping others and saving lives and getting others to ensure the best health in themselves. So that's our core, that's our care, and that's our mission now. And that's really exciting. It's not easy, it's challenging. But for me, it's exciting. It's what wake me up in the morning, push me to go to the office.
Thanks, Wissam. I'm sure. For me, the way I see it, insurance becomes a very thankless job. People reach out when they really need us, and then then we again go back in the non-existent. And they only reach out to insurance as an industry when they really need us. So thanks a lot for taking care of everyone and the great work NEXtCARE and the whole of the team has been doing. So, Vivek,
I want to thank our partners for this. I want to thank our partners that kept us stronger, because they are going stronger, we are going stronger, and that's a strong partnership that we create across. Without them, we couldn't succeed, and that's for their trust, and thanks for that.
I'm sure. So Vivek, over to you. Wissam just set the stage with thanking the partner, and I think you both are at a very deep partnership together. So tell us about you and how, what's exciting you in insurance these days?
Yeah. So as an introduction, I'll just start with an introduction of myself. So I'm Vivek Bhalla, the Director for Digital Transformation, as you have already briefed the audience about it, and have been into industry for 20 years now. As Wissam said, I started my days also with IT. So I have seen all those stories of from like a fiber or a copper lines to now digital transformations and all that stuff. So having said that, proud to be as an insurer. Wissam just thanked us for being a strategic partners as well. So thank you, Wissam, parallelly, likely, and likewise that you guys are always standing behind us. So hence we survive with the front face of the clients. So, and again, and insurance being a wide subject, it's not a transactional nature, as you said just now. People come to us when you need us. So, and we feel proud in serving them when they need us specifically the most. And if you continue to that story, and if you continue to the digital transformation, I think everybody of the panel and the audience will agree with us that we have to change the nature of the transactions. So we need to, and again, as I say, down the line, we'll also discuss about it. So we have been doing those a customer first approach and all those stuff wherein we interact with the customers quite frequently. And that's probably the need of the hour, and which we have been doing since starting of 2016. So there has been a long-term plan, and we'll discuss it about more. So thank you. So that's a brief introduction about us. Yeah.
Thanks, Vivek. So next, I mean, I'll hand over to Martin, who is yet another IT guy and still has decided to remain with IT, core IT. So Martin, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Gaurav. My name is Martin Sebastian. Been in the industry for almost 22 years and in the region for almost 18 years. My first 10 years I was in Saudi Arabia, then I moved to Abu Dhabi. In Saudi, I was heading the IT for Al Raji Takaful. I had the opportunity to set up Al Raji Takaful when they transformed from the conventional insurance to the Takaful insurance. And after that, I got an opportunity to come and set up this Watania insurance also. So I'm here right from the beginning of Watania insurance as well. So it's been a fabulous journey with Watania so far. Yes, like what you say, that I'm still in IT, core IT, but purely into the management since last 10-14 years. Probably, I would still love to do setting up things from the scratch again. So maybe in the next job also, if I get an opportunity to establish something from the scratch, I will definitely grab that opportunity.
Great. So all three IT folks along with me, who also happens to be IT folk, but the nature of business has pushed me to wear suits. So let's start. And IT is the flavor of the time right now. So before we directly jump into it, I mean, I'll also, I'll invite all our live audience also to participate by submitting their questions on the panels on the screen. So towards the end of it, we can take up directly questions from them and also hear their thoughts and if they have any specific questions. So like I was saying that, I mean, IT right now in this whole of the pandemic has become a driving force in making us all work seamlessly. And like Wissam, you were saying some time back that, I mean, the team moved seamlessly to work from home. And that's probably all thanks to the IT tools, which we all have invested in over the past some time. So Wissam, directly jumping to it, obviously, like we speak right now, right? It's a situation of great gravity. The COVID-19 pandemic has clearly, I mean, wreaked havoc on the world, and the insurance sector has found itself in the spotlights. With this backdrop, would just like to start by asking you sort of like, what has been the summary of overall impact of this crisis on your business up to this point? And of course, a lot of this is still evolving. Like we have to wait to see how the overall situation plays out, but what has been the summary so far?
Look, the impact of COVID-19 is well reflected all over. I don't want to talk about the economy or the financial, but I would rather look at it from a different perspective. Whenever we do a certain evaluation after a crisis, we look into three major areas. That's how we do it. We focus on the customer. We look into the customer demands and the change in the customer demands. We look into our value proposition, number two. And number three, we look into the current capabilities, our current capabilities and people. Those are the main three pillars that we evaluate the impact for any crisis or for any big event that happened in the region or in the market. Dissecting that and looking into each pillar aside, what we started noticing the customer wanted something different. The customer started wanting to see more agile solution, more e-health solutions, and they were focusing more on the need of a seamless journey, which is currently exactly what we are providing, and that's what kept us confident in our proposition and in value in the market. That we started thinking about a seamless journey for our customers, about a full health end-to-end e-health solution long time ago, which is currently the need in that price. So customers was looking for something that we had, and that's really helped us helped us in approaching the customer faster and easier, working with them more than a TPA. I believe that we proved to the market during that crisis that we are more as a health management company, health managers, rather than a TPA. That was one of the positive impacts that I would say, proving that the customer demand had changed and we were able to evade that customer demand easily, helping us ensuring our proposition growing day after day. We didn't stop. So we didn't stop what we started. We didn't stop our aim or our executing our strategy. Not to mention everything, I cannot mention everything, but I will highlight a few things that helped us achieving that and achieving our journey from the solutions. I mentioned the e-health solutions that we provide. See a doctor. So while you are at home now, you can see your doctor, you can consult your doctor online through a few clicks using your mobile app, symptom checkers, improving our e-claim solutions. Even if you contact your doctor or you visit the healthcare provider, you are able to rate your visit, and this will give us more visibility on how is the customer journey while not interacting directly with NEXtCARE, while interacting with the providers themselves. So that being said, our value proposition in the market got, I think, stronger with the initiative that we did, and it was highly elaborated and highly visible through that pandemic period. Focusing on this crisis pushed us more and more to focus on the value rather than the volume. So we value our customers. We focus on creating that value with the customer rather than just focusing on the volume, similar to other normal service business. So, being dynamic, it pushed us to be dynamic more and more. Though we consider ourselves, we are considered in the region to be dynamics, the top or the one of the leaders in being agile and dynamic, driving the changes and the transformation. But that COVID-19 pushed us to be more agile, more dynamic, more able to transform, looking for further opportunities. Opportunities in different areas, in business, in automation, in service, in quality, in cost, which is always driving or taking us to our third area of evaluation or third pillar, which is our people and capability. I think that transition for that period of 2 months that happened from March effectively in this region, we started being impacted by mid of March almost. From that period of time, we had thought, why not we take the advantage of the slowness happening everywhere and see how we can get closer to our team, how we can enforce our learning and development and our training. What are the capabilities that our team that we can leverage on? What are the skills needed that will help us ensuring a proper or a better relationship with our clients and with our partners? So I would say there was the same way that there was a negative impact of this crisis. There was a lot of positive impact that we took advantage of. As I mentioned, providing full end-to-end health solutions to our customers, ensuring that our value proposition remains the same, and we are able to get closer to our clients, and understanding the capabilities, leveraging on training and upskilling our team's capabilities.
Thanks, Wissam. That's very helpful, especially to hear directly from you as being leading the whole company on this forefront of this crisis. And like you said, I mean, quality experience starts playing out more and more in terms of customer relationship, and that of course needs a lot of agility and technology to be able to achieve that. So moving to you, Vivek, I mean, personally, along with my team, I have followed the digital journey of Takaful Emarat very closely. I mean, even though we have our interactions have been limited, but I mean, from a distance, I have always been an admirer of what you folks have been doing. So I remember recently reading about your shift of insurance buying journey from offline manual process to a fully digital one. And it has been received very highly by your customers. So why don't you take us through the whole of the transformation experience and what risk mitigation steps you have taken and for the short, medium, and long term to respond to this whole of the situation and days ahead?
So thanks, Gaurav. Again, quickly, I'll take you to the society as Wissam also took to his company's strength about this. So we started this journey in 2016. So we were very particular about that once the medical insurance was made mandatory in this region. So we had to avail certain short-term goals, medium-term goals, and long-term goals. So transformation is itself, when we call digital transformation, it's not a destination, it's not a journey. It's combination of destination, journey, and intent towards the journey. So our management, our CEO, Mr. Weil, was very active and vocal in saying that we need to plan for a 3-year horizon plus a short term wherein the opportunity is there to bank upon it and transition that opportunity into so numbers. Always the CEOs talks about numbers. So those numbers plus the long-term plan and sustenance. So those, and the intent of the management was very clear since the start. So what we did in 2016 was grab the maximum opportunity on those short-term plans, yearly medical plans, and get it rolling, right? So we got it rolling at that time and embarked on a good market share within this region. Numbers being confidential, so nothing like that. So the foundation was laid then. 2017 onwards, we started orientation towards the long-term strategy. So we were a cloud-first company. So when we say a cloud-first company, we are located in this region and comply with all the regulatory compliances. Plus, we have platforms like Azure, which are globally. We have partnered with Microsoft in this, and we have done a fair amount of due diligence when it comes to the user journeys. So coming back to the long-term goal of going cloud, so which helped us in all perspectives to work from home within a snap of a finger, to start any new product innovation. So we launched. So it was to that extent that we launched a digital journey product for live customers during the pandemic period. So we were that agile to make it. So the need of the hour was a life insurance term plan on a digital journey, right? Where people could buy because everybody was at home and everybody was sitting on the mobile or so it was not intended only towards to capture the market share. It was intended towards people, customers, so outside-in approach. So we adopted an outside-in approach as a management decision, and we took it on a head-on basis, saying that, guys, we need to give something to the market in this pandemic time. We did 2 products as well. So one was a CSR initiative for the frontline workers. So our board had taken a decision to do it for CS as a CS. They asked us to what you can do. So we said that, okay, guys, this is the best possible approach. And in short time, in 2 weeks time, we went live. So hence, as I say, we were agile enough to create those you can say journeys, personas, wherein we had listened the speech of the customer from outside to in, saying that, okay, guys, we need this. This is the need of the hour for our customers. Our customers deserve this, and we stood by them. And on medical insurance, as Wissam has already mentioned, thick and thin, we stood by them, and we were at a calls away. So we had roughly exchanged in a peak time, in a peak day, roughly 10,000 conversation on the collaboration platforms. So those placements done in the right tools, the right tools, you can say the right journeys, the right personas, the right surveys, what we placed in, and it's a journey of that. So hence we were able to cope up those things, and I think we did a fair job. Yeah.
Thanks, Vivek. I mean, a few takeaways for me here will be like, I mean, you have to be always preparing for and keep moving towards the forward. I mean, like you said, I mean, 2016 was when the foundation was laid, and we are reaping benefits in 2020 with the agility and all tools. And Azure, especially, I mean, given the Azure data center is not very old in that region, I mean, they just have 2 data centers. One happens to be in Dubai and another in Abu Dhabi. So that's very interesting. So, and of course, the other one being, I mean, you have to split things into short, mid, and long term, because as the CEO is, I mean, there is always going to be a pressure on the numbers and how you are faring in the market. So, Martin, coming to you, I mean, while Vivek did touch on the pressure on numbers in the pressure from CEO side, I think COVID has also pushed a lot of pressure from the CFO to everyone. And this pandemic has definitely accelerated the whole of the long pending push to digital. And we hope that industry keeps moving forward. So since you have been associated with Watania, setting it up from scratch, like you said, so what kind of impact this whole thing has made in terms of your short-term and long-term initiatives? I mean, what things got suddenly accelerated and which were suddenly pushed out and were given a lot of weight by whole of the organization because of the immediate need, and which took a step back?
Oh, well, actually, our journey is also something similar like what Vivek has said. We started our journey sometime in 2017. That's where the time where we realized that, okay, we have to do some transformation on the digital path, and the kind of infrastructure what we maintain now is not quite enough for that. So we designed an enterprise architecture platform there, and we started building all the necessary stuffs around that architecture there. Well, in the first 2 years, it was predominantly on having a configurator platform, getting established, integrate to our core insurance application through over a middleware. And again, these are all proprietary applications what we have developed. Then we launched a new B2B platform early last year in 2019, March, April. So that was like almost 1.5 years back. So we used to have a digital platform earlier. So what we have noticed that the flexibility of having a new product into that platform was not at ease. So that's where we decided that, okay, we need to go for a different mechanism altogether. So now the foundation what we started building in 2017 actually really helped us now in advancing certain projects. As we speak now, tomorrow we are officially launching our online portal, though we have soft launched it last week. And this was something which we were planning to launch probably during the summer, immediately after the summer holidays time. But because of all these pandemic situations here, and we understand that the need of an online policy in the market, we advanced that deadline. And we were able to do that. We were almost there. We just had to ship certain things here and there. So we, in fact, did a soft launch last week, and we are officially launching it tomorrow. This platform which we got developed now has actually helped us to add on more and more products within the short period of time now. We are purely a general insurance company. We don't have life insurance, and it's like a general and a medical combination. So we are coming up with a motor, home, and medical, and we are planning to add more products there. Apart from this, on the collaborating platform, we are planning to add more entities to the collaboration towards achieving the omni-channel concept. So we are coming up with the chatbots integrated with the WhatsApp, Facebook, and all that. Also, we are going to launch next week. Yes, certain things were being reprioritized, but having said that, we have not stopped any of the projects what we have taken. It's just that we started sitting from the home and working, but the pace we tend to maintain the same thing.
That's interesting. Thanks for sharing, Martin. I think this key takeaway for me in this discussion is, it seems like, I mean, while in the short term we are seeing some problems with this whole of the pandemic, but as we zoom out, as we go a couple of years later, we'll see this actually helped us transform the whole of the journey and actually did a lot more good than, I mean, whatever we are seeing in the short term happening. So Wissam, coming back to you, while we all agree and actively discuss how, I mean, the whole of the blow has affected each one of us in one way or the other, but one thing that usually gets sidelined in these discussions, or I'd say does not get its due focus, is how massive the influx of customer support queries has been in this entire industry. And as Vivek said, I mean, one fine day they had almost 10,000 conversations or 10,000 interactions with the customers happening. And rightly so, right? I mean, with all the uncertainty going on, everyone is looking at insurers as their close ally. I mean, with this, I mean, as you said, that you want to focus on that quality and dependence, that they look at you as a good ally and as something they can bank on. I mean, also comes a lot of questions that they want answers for and end up reaching out to us, I mean, us as insurers, about things that are covered in policy and various other stuff. So how has NEXtCARE been handling this whole new influx, sudden volume increase of customer support, and also at the same time enhancing the customer experience during the crisis?
Yeah, you're asking a challenging question. It's not easy to handle and to keep your customers satisfied, especially in that period, in this pandemic period, where it touch not just the health, it touch also the emotion of your members. How come if you are handling more than 4 million lives across the region and you want to ensure that all of them are happy, all of them are satisfied, and you are providing, if you used to provide an excellent service or a good service, then you need to improve to overcome the gap of emotion that's touching the people there. So number one, I think what I can tell you, the number one or the top priority is to listen to your customers, is the voice of customer. Once you listen carefully to the customer, and that's what we excel in doing, and that's what we excelled and we continue excelling in doing, is listening to our customer, hearing the customer needs, hearing the customer demands and their inquiries, how they look at us, how they look at our services, how they rate our services, and on top of that, how we can do things better. What do they want from us to do things better? So we listen to the customers. We ran surveys, we ran a lot of campaigns. We initiated different communication platform, and here I will not promote Verloop, but
no, that's not the aim.
It happened. Actually, we are currently relying on your platform at the moment to interact with our client, with our partners, and with our members to get to hear their voice properly and listen to them. So, running surveys gave us a lot of insights on what the customer needs. So this allowed us to ensure that we are giving better access to care. And again, I focus on the word care, not the word claims management, where everyone's think that NEXtCARE is a claims management company, they manage the claims. No, we care. So we provide a better access to care. How you access your healthcare provider, we ensure that you're getting a better service while you are on the provider, not just a document submitted to us and we are approving it. How we can improve our technology services, telephony services, e-medicine, how we can provide an e-medicine solution to reduce the cost, to ensure the faster, you know, that today with this pandemic, a lot of people were restricted from mobility. They are staying at home. I'm not talking about UAE. We are more relaxed now, thanks to the leadership in this country. In other countries, still the hit is now coming. They were not impacted before as much as they are impacted now, and they are restricted. So we need to reach them at their home. We need to deliver their medicines to their home. We need to manage their healthcare. We need to do more interaction with them. How we can proactively support them. So we run a lot of initiatives across all of those pillars, across all of those areas, in order to make sure that we are ready and we are there for them. In addition to that, we didn't forget our responsibility being a big player in this market and this region, and being a greater to good. We ran a lot of CSR initiatives. We worked closely with the authorities and the regulators in different countries to ensure that we are supporting, not just by covering, by ensuring good prices, and by doing some additional activities in terms of supporting the government and the regulatory requirement and initiatives in different countries. So we work with a lot of the authorities to initiate a lot of CSR campaigns. That give us a sense of achievement for us because we are responsible, we are taking care of our client, and allow us to know more our clients, our members, and get closer to them. So number one, voice of customer as a starting point to achieve a better access to care.
Interesting. Thanks, Wissam. And I'll actually come back to you on this, especially because I mean, the way we merge the volumes at the same time, give care to customers. But I'll hold on to that question for a while and just directly go to Vivek. And Vivek, let's spend some more time on the customer experience, just because how critical it is. I mean, in terms of customers, so how customers look at you in future. Like you said, that customers come to us when they need us. So it becomes very critical in their experience with the overall platform, not just from buying, but overall claims and care and everything beyond. So digital innovation becomes key. So, I mean, let us know in more detail how Takaful Emarat is evolving through this innovation, especially in addressing customer support and experience, and also balancing this whole emotional aspect, which Wissam just brought in. Because, I mean, you have volumes and then you have to bring in, also handle emotions and a lot of anxiety people have, questions they have in mind. So how are you balancing all of this? And I mean, what are the initiatives you are taking on this side?
So I think all the points have Wissam has already taken it up. So I have nothing much to talk about on this. But again,
we are together in this, Vivek.
Yeah. So giving you the feedback of what we have been doing for customers as we have been not only looking that okay, shall we push our product to the market? Okay, that's one option probably. But what people need, so forget about only products. So we need to start looking as a customer in a holistic perspective, which we have done in past as well. So when I say holistic perspective, I mean to say we are not only touch as a start. I said, so the customer transactions are minimal in insurance industry, right? So what do you need to increase the customer interactions? Okay. So in pandemic situation, what we found that our customers need to pay the premium, right? In life insurance policies, the policies will lapse in case the premiums are not paid. Okay. So what you can do? So we took an initiative saying that, guys, let's call our customers and interact with them and tell them, guys, you are not alone in this pandemic. We are there with you as an emotional aspect, and send emailers saying that here is the payment links where you can go and pay your due premiums, and exact amount is coming directly from the system integrated. So this was an initiative what we took as an emotional aspect, so that and the policies will not lapse during the said period. So we increase those lapsation timings. So these were the certain quick wins what we did with the customers and supported them emotionally during that time, right? And now coming back to the survey portion, so we speak to the customer as voice of the customers, right? So we had customer surveys. We got a phenomenal response. So out of I'll say 1,000 customers we surveyed, we got to say that we are proud enough to say that out of those 25% customers didn't bought from us in an online journey. Out of those 25%, 67% said that we would love to hear about your digital products. And out of that, 64% still said that we would prefer to buy online from you, right? And then we transitioned this question into further subsection saying that, guys, what you like best about us. So I'll just share the numbers with you, the percentages with you, what we had. So it was 74% of the people who bought 75, okay, out of 1,000 customers, so 75% bought online, right? So out of those 75% said, 75 out of that 75 that we were impressed to see that journey, and we were easily able to understand your products quite phenomenally. So that was the biggest piece, and the payments processing was 82% said that we are quite satisfied. So the intent was to capture the customer voice. So customer voice translated into the real-time efforts. So hence the customer support was emotional as well. The regular update about the COVID-19 situation to the customers, which were newsletters. So as Wissam said, care. So the emotional aspect was there. And the customer interactions increased a lot. So, and the probably 97% of the customers said that we called your helpline or customer care and we were satisfied. So, which was a win-win for us. So this is the real-time problem, and real-time we got it evolved being agile thanks to the team, the agility of the team, thanks to the leadership. And here we are, and we continue to strive our best with our partners like Wissam.
Sure.
That's very interesting, and I think sometime right now we are short of time. Otherwise, I would have loved to hear more on how you are running surveys, because of course I know how Wissam is doing it, but I would have loved to understand how you are running the surveys, how you are capturing that voice, and just to learn more about it. But probably that's for another day. Martin, coming to you, and I'll hold on to you. I mean, I'm sorry, Vivek, we missed you.
Offline call on this, a long session.
Definitely, we'll have a brainstorming session sometime together. So Martin, coming to you, and for some reason I keep bumping into finance and CFOs and number questions to you. So one thing which everyone has been touching right now is that suddenly people are more aware of their insurance policies, right? They are reaching out and understanding what things are there, and if they are not reaching out, then proactively insurance companies are reaching out and telling them that, hey, we are here with you. If you want to understand more things, we are actively dialing and reaching out to them. So what this means is like that suddenly, what I anticipate is that suddenly pre-sales journeys might have been spread slightly longer than what they used to be. And people are researching a lot more. They have a lot more questions before they make a purchase. So how is Watania addressing this change in buyer journey? While people are more willing to buy online, and like Vivek said, the customer happiness index goes very high if we do it right. But people are researching and they have questions before they buy. So hand-holding better to ensure that, your lead funnel remains healthy and those pressures on numbers are always ticking on time. So how are you doing? How are you handling it? Especially like now you are launching a new product. So have you taken that into account?
Gaurav, customers' characteristics keeps on changing. We know the area where people used to book a trunk call, later on the STD calls, then the ISD calls. Then the technology has changed. Now the customers doesn't want to wait. Having said that, we know that this is a broker dominant market. For majority of the insurance companies, the major business junk comes from the broker relationship. But still, there is a good pocket for online sales. And we have identified that also. And that's why we also decided that, okay, we need to change the mechanism where the way we were handling things. And there are two aspects, actually. It's not just giving a policy online. It is the servicing part. So we clearly understand that without giving a good servicing, it is difficult to stand in the market. Our hashtag itself is settles claims faster. And that's what we say. Whatever may be the case, we try to settle it as early as possible. Be it a motor insurance where the largest junk is there, or in the medical. Medical, we have tie-ups with certain TPS. Well, when it comes to the purchase journey, what we have adopted now is that we try to move a little bit away from the conventional journey. Until somebody buys the quotation, goes with the quotation, we are not even bothered about who is that. We are not even asking his name or mobile number. That's fine. You take the quote. If you're happy with the quote, continue the journey. Be it window shopping, we don't have a problem. Sometimes people are hesitant to provide their personal information. And we have cut down a lot of unwanted questions in the journey that now in 4 minutes time, a person can buy a motor policy online. And we were able to deliver it. So that is one unique thing probably I can showcase to the others in the region. that in 4 minutes time, a motor policy can be completed. A similar approach we have taken for other lines of products also, which we are planning to bring. Well, when coming back to the servicing side, we are adding more channels for the customers to reach. We know that people doesn't come back to insurance companies very often like they go back to any other financial institutions like a bank or any other investment firm which they are attached to. And for that matter, what percentage of people sitting here might be having an insurance mobile app installed and configured in their mobile phone? It's a fact. But when a person is in a dire state situation, touch wood, if he has an unfortunate event in his life, say a motor accident or a hospitalization of a family member or himself, he will not have the patience to download and open and register a mobile app, or doesn't even think that, okay, I have downloaded the mobile app of my insurance company earlier. So what is the easiest thing which we need to give? Is it a communication through WhatsApp? Then give that. Calling the toll-free number is always an option there. Everybody is doing. So what is the other next quickest thing which we can give? So we are opening up all the channels which we can open up. We are giving the mobile app also. We are giving the WhatsApp bot also. We are going to give the Facebook messengers as well through the web. We extended the call center service time by another 1 hour on a daily basis, and we added Saturday also to their working calendar. So now the call center is working 6 hours a day. And thank God to guys working there. Now, since everybody is working from home, even after the office hours, they are picking the line and they are servicing. It's like almost round the clock service happening now. We are getting the calls even at the late in the night. The claims managers are taking and approving it, regardless whether it is part of the policy terms or condition. We even have gone beyond the terms and agreed to repatriation conditions, which the query came to us and sorted out in say like 30-40 minutes time. So these are all the things we are giving back to the society now. When we are here and when we are doing the business, there are certain things which we have to give it back to the society, not just go only with the policy terms and conditions, right? So yeah, it's a mixed approach actually. Use the digital thing, use an emotional thing, a mix up of everything. How do we serve the customers better?
Thanks, Martin. Thanks for taking us through. So now, I mean, we barely have 10 minutes left. So I quickly would like to take like one key takeaway from all of you. I mean, that our audience can take back. And so Wissam, we'll start with you. I mean, what according to you is one key takeaway that our audience can take and I mean, go and implement in their companies and also in their processes based on your experience of this whole situation?
Well, transformation is not an easy step. It's not a small plan. It's a strategy. It should be taken all across the board, from the top down, horizontal and vertical. Nowadays, digitalization is a must. Talking about chatbots, web chats, other type of bots and automation, that's the future. The old school, if it's still running at the moment, it will survive, but it will not continue surviving. We need to change. We need to be more agile, not just in insurance. And insurance industry is the most affected because it's the most industry relying still on papers and on the normal traditional way of work. So we need to be more agile. We need to transform. We need to digitalize, relying on different technologies available in the market.
Thanks, Wissam. Vivek, what according to you, I mean, is a takeaway for our audience?
So agile is a key word now. So be agile. So number one, no dispute on that. Second, very important, guys. We have to be very careful and understanding that we were before the pandemic situation. We were on the cusp of millennials giving the baton to the Gen Z to start their behavior pattern. With pandemic situation, that has been a critical jump towards that. So the baton is getting transferred quickly, right? So you have to be ready with those behavioral pattern wherein which says that you will have to be transacting with them very frequently. You have to be adopting as an insurer, as a care provider, like Wissam said from his side, as a life insurer from our side, or a medical insurer from our side, as Martin's side, general insurers. So insurance will be commoditized to a very large extent. I was having a webinar last week on blockchain platforms. So the regulators have already gone ahead and started thinking on motor insurance as a pay-as-you-go. So the products are coming up. So it has to be commoditized, and it will be commoditized. So you have to be careful then when you are seeing the millennials passing the baton to Gen Z. The behavioral pattern has to be understood. They are preferring to buy at ease. They are preferring to buy at a counseling than just pushing them on. So like continuous nagging that I want to buy, you want to buy, you want to buy, you want to sell insurance. No, it will not work anymore like this. So you have to create the commoditized as insurance products. Number one, be agile. Number two, number three, probably you will start having the daily interactions with the customers, and try to be ready with those things which our fathers or forefathers didn't ask for. Probably that is not a wish list. That's a must-have situation. And moreover, don't forget there is a silver tsunami as well. So I'm not going by the Martin's hairs, but yeah, but there is a silver tsunami coming in, wherein people of age 60 and 65, the population is climbing. They will be needing certain key facts as well from insurers' perspective. You need to be ready with that. So these two aspects, Gen Z and silver lining, maybe the third or fourth criteria for as a takeaway from my side.
Just to sum it up, be agile, be more close to customers, and be prepared for the future changes because they are inevitable. Oh, yeah. Martin, what according to you?
See, all the major things Wissam and Vivek has said, but I would like to put one thing very simple. Insurance is a service. We should not be forgetting about the basics of that. Service is an essential thing, and it is for that good service customers are coming to us. From a company perspective, we may be doing a lot of digitalization projects to enhance our face, to go to the market, to make the go-to-market pretty easy. Having said that, if after doing all those things, if the service element is delayed, whatever the trust which we are going to build with them will be on toss. So make use of digitalization to serve better, serve faster. Take the confidence, take the trust of the customer stays with you.
Thanks, Martin. With that, I would like to take a bunch of questions which folks have posted. So Wissam, this question probably, I'll pass to you. That how customer support and experience in insurance is viewed differently in UAE versus the other parts of the world?
Well, UAE is a mature market, and more advanced in the infrastructure maybe. While I see the customers all over the region are the same customers. So the customer experience is the same, the customer needs are the same. It varies a little bit from one region to another, depending on the infrastructure and the maturity and the connectivity of each country. And I'll give you an example. In UAE, you see more connected people than you see it outside the region. In countries which is like Lebanon, for example, where in India, I can see the question here is made specifically in India. In India, you have areas which is very, very well connected, where technology is so advanced, and you see that the customers are so aware, are so informative. So you cannot falsify or bluff your customers. No, it's not the game anymore. For those who were doing that before, they cannot do it at the moment. They can still do something in far regions where the people are not connected. But now people are asking for technology everywhere. They are asking about chat, WhatsApp chat, Facebook chat. I'll give you a lot of examples of technology that faded out because of they didn't hear the customers properly or relied that they are dominating. So the customer experience The more connected the customer experience is the same, the more demanding, the customers are aware, they are knowledgeable. They can Google anything and they can understand better than me and you in that specific area in a matter of 1 hour or two. So you need to be prepared, you need to listen to them carefully, and you need to engage them in your decisions. They cannot stay the same. Again, the old school will not work anymore in the future. Your customer will be part of your decision. They cannot stay outside your decision. You need to listen to them, take their needs, demands, and get them engaged.
Interesting. That's interesting. Definitely. I mean, internet has taken away the information asymmetry, like you said, and everyone is aware. And I mean, so as a brands, we have to just become more transparent with the customers and be the assisted ally next to them rather than just selling. I mean, I think that's the point you're trying to make. So sum it up.
Yeah.
So Vivek,
ensuring care.
I'm sure care becomes critical, like you said, care, not claims. So Vivek, coming to you, the next question, as an insurer, what unique challenges do you face as an industry that others outside the industry might not understand?
As a life insurer, specifically, if we ask, is like this region specifically is around, has a weird combination of population. So 90% expat and 10% you can say the local aspect. But if you see as a life insurer, life insurance is a business of long term, right? So you start making profitability when you have a 15-year plan, 25-year plan. The people, the population starts buying those relevant, I will say, solutions for themselves, right? But if you see the expat market being 90% versus 10%, your life insurance perspective changes, which people don't understand. So we have to make people, the clients, understand as a solutioning, saying that, guys, this is not a short-term plan. This is a long-term plan. And you can carry this plan to your home countries like this. So it's not that you are, okay, you got the plan when you were here in the region. So hence it qualifies you to that level that, okay, this is the base to start. But in case you are considering going back to in the long run to any of your respective countries, it is a portable product. So these challenges, what people don't understand from other insurance verticals, like maybe like Martin's company will have a short-term product, which is 1-year product, or a medical insurance product. We face both sides, and the industry is itself. It's a different mix. So out of 100%, 78-79% is a multinational market in life insurance versus remaining 20-21% being the local players. So that's the uneven balance, and we are trying to just balance, and which people don't understand outside the industry. That's what I think from my side.
Thanks, Vivek. So, Martin, keeping the time in mind, I mean, because we are already over it, just one last question, and I'll take it because this is a very interesting question which has just come up. So how do you overcome the gap between, say, automated L1 support and customized support very quickly? I mean, what's your thought there? And I swear, I'm not the one who posted it.
What can you repeat the question?
So how do you overcome the gap between automated L1, L0 support and customized support? I mean, very complicated queries versus very simple, whatever people can do.
Well, automated L0 support.
Yeah.
Correct? Oh, it's a very complex story. It's a very complex story.
Yeah.
Now we are yet to reach there. See, at this point of time, things are pretty normal as the way we were handling things earlier. But yes, we are currently working with UiPath on certain areas where we are able, where we should be able to automate certain process. And one of the largest area which we have identified and we are planning to do is on the support for the customers as well as for the internal users. Yet to see the results of it. I mean, to what extent we will be able to reap the benefit out of it, I will be able to know only in coming few months. But having said that, our expectations are quite high. This is again something which I don't know how many of them have tested and tried it out here. To what extent it will flunk or what extent it will be successful, only the time can answer the question.
Great, definitely. Vivek, I see you have some thoughts, so we'll wrap it up with your thoughts.
Allow, because we have an experience in this chatbot stuff. So we implemented a story year or two back, I'd say 2018. Yeah. So when it comes to insurance, when people touch base with you at the time of renewal and at the time of new business or at the time of critical care or claims, whatever you may call it, if they don't get that response, so it's a bad service. It's called as a bad service. So as Martin said, when you buy a product, you buy a product. When you renew a service. You don't renew a product. You don't renew a company. You renew a service, right? So chatbot, we try to push it on the specific questions. We struggled. We struggled when we say people came and they got lost. Although we had a like machine learning based chatbot, natural language processing, NLP, and all those stuff wherein you can translate speech to text. So we had a pretty advanced chatbot on that sense. So in the chatbot implementation on insurance sector, you have to be very careful when you implement. Very careful, because once a customer leaves and is dissatisfied, it's difficult. So this is our perspective. On the contrary, the banks are doing well, like Emirates NBD. I can name it. It's public. Live. I think they have IVA, yeah. But the focus was you have to continue with your journey. Don't stop it. So if you stop it, people get irritated that you flipped once, you flopped once, and then it's vice versa now. So continue with the journey. NLP keeps on gaining traction. It keeps on learning, and it helps. Insurance industry, unfortunately, we had a tough time. So we took it back. Yeah.
Got it. Interesting. I mean, that's a great perspective to hear, especially, I mean, as we try to as a business, try to push more of a chat automation. I mean, these experiences also help us learn. And I'm sure, I mean, over the period of time from when you implemented to today, a lot of things have changed, but I mean, probably that's for another day's discussion. And with that, I think we are already running 5 minutes ahead of time. So I would like to thank all of you for joining us here. I'm sure the audience had a great time, and Edil got the answer also around the chat automation, etc. So with that, thanks a lot for joining. It was a pleasure having all of you here, and look forward to connecting more and understanding and learning in days ahead. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks, Gaurav, Martin.
Thanks, Vivek and Wissam.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Wissam. Thanks, Vivek. Thanks, Martin. Have a great day.